the Academy Awards were this past Sunday, and filmmaker Jonathan Glazer was really the only person who had anything to say about the Israel-Gaza war. You had a few actors with the red pins, the ceasefire pins, which is fine. That's nice. That's good. But this guy was the only guy who had something to say, a Jewish man who won for his movie The Zone of Interest, obviously a Holocaust-themed film. And so here was his acceptance speech.
Thank you to the Academy for this honor, and to our partners A24, Film for Access, and the Polish Film Institute, to the Auschwitz-Birkenau State Museum for their trust and guidance, to my producers, actors, collaborators. All our choices were made to reflect and confront us in the present, not to say, look what they did then, rather look what we do now. Our film shows where dehumanization leads at its worst. It shaped all of our past and present. Right now, we stand here as men who refute their Jewishness and the Holocaust being hijacked by an occupation which has led to conflict for so many innocent people. Whether the victims of October the... Whether the victims of October...
Nice applause from the half of the room who've already been fired by their agents, who have nothing to lose by applauding that. The other half sat silently.
Honestly, I was just thinking that watching this, that, hey, it does take courage for the people who applauded. It really does, man. Because
of course, you're seen there, man. Everybody important is there. Somebody sees you clapping, they tell somebody else. Yeah, of course. Why do you think they all booed Michael Moore in 2003?
Through this whole industry, from the high to the low, from the people at the Oscars to the schmucks that I know, some of whom actually are people who would be at the Oscars, all of them just avoid this entire subject. Yeah. They just don't talk about it. I think some of them have awareness, like Caitlin Johnston pointed out. You don't want to have to answer for supporting this later.
Right.
And at the same time, if they sympathize with the Palestinians, they don't want to lose work over it. Which, hey, if you just shut the fuck up and didn't want a virtue signal about Orange Man bad and Moms of Liberty and whatever other costless cause you decide to jump up on a soapbox about, I could take that. I could understand that. But these people pretend to be political. Cost-free politics. Anything that's going to cost them something, we're seeing now how they react. They shut up immediately.
Exactly. So I want to get this quote in because this is going to be the point of some future debate. Right now, we stand here as men who refute their Jewishness. He goes on to say, this is very important, you're not going to want to miss this part.
Refute their Jewishness and the Holocaust being hijacked by an occupation which has led to conflict.
Refute their Jewishness and the Holocaust being hijacked by an occupation. Okay, now we'll let this finish and then we'll do more.
For so many innocent people. Whether the victims of October the... Whether the victims of October the 7th in Israel or the ongoing attack on Gaza, all are victims of this dehumanization. How do we resist? Alexandra Bistron-Kaladziejczak, the girl who glows in the film as she did in life, chose to. I dedicate this to her memory and her resistance. Thank you.
Okay, so Jewish man comes up and says, we are here as men who refute their Jewishness being hijacked for an occupation which has harmed so many innocent people. And then he even acknowledged the loss of life on both October 7th and the aftermath. Yep. Right? Yep. Okay, so let's hear from this guy. Michael Rappaport. Jonathan Glazer exploited the Holocaust.
That's their line. That's their line. All of them are saying that. He exploited it. All right. So, well, you could say that about Simon Wiesenthal, right? He made a living talking about the Holocaust. Yeah. Right? So was he exploiting it? You could say that about literally anyone who produces anything that you would charge money to consume, a book, a movie. You could say they're museums.
It was a movie about the Holocaust that won an Oscar. So what are you talking about, right? Exploited the Holocaust, its victims and survivors, while you refute your Jewishness in front of the world. You did this when things are as dire for Jews as they've been since the Holocaust. You embarrass yourself, not us. Let's go to the video for the rest of this.
If you your Jewishness at the Academy Awards, and the thing that's upset.
See, this is the premium Rappaport content because he's saying this into a microphone. This is for the official podcast. You think we have poor mic technique? Look at this guy. This is the official Rappaport podcast, not just him ranting in the street, right? This is for the premium subscribers here. Top-notch content.
Can you imagine the mind of a person that would pay money to get more of this?
Or that would just subscribe to the free pod, listen to this in the car for like an hour? like he puts the videos out there 60 seconds. Imagine listening to this for an hour straight. But let's hear it.
You refute your Jewishness at the Academy Awards, and the thing that's upsetting, or one of the things that's upsetting about it, is nobody else said Jewishness, Jew, or Israel at the Academy Awards except for one motherfucker who refutes his Jewishness.
Why do you think that is, Michael?
And people are like, oh, well, maybe he didn't mean this. Or he had plenty of opportunity to clarify himself if he didn't mean it. You refute your Jewishness, and you motherfuckers are up there clapping and applauding, and you refute your Jewishness on a night where no one says the word hostages or Jew or Jewishness or Israel. Shame
or genocide.
On you, fuck.
Yeah, or genocide. Exactly. Or genocide.
It's called adding insult to injury. Shame
or
on
ICJ.
You. Yeah. I love this.
And people are like, oh, well, maybe he didn't mean this. Or he had plenty of opportunity to clarify himself.
Dipshit, he didn't have to clarify. You guys are the ones
He was clear.
Manipulating what he said. If he had said, I refute my Jewishness, clarification might be needed because you might not know what he meant by that. But the full statement was, we are men who refute their Jewishness being used, or what was it? Not weaponized, being hijacked. That was the word.
Hijacked.
For an occupation. So what he said was completely clear, but Michael Rappaport is not alone in blatantly lying about what this man said. Here's Batya Ungar Sargon. I simply cannot fathom the moral rot in someone's soul that leads them to win an award for a movie about the Holocaust, and with the platform given to them, to accept that award by saying, we stand here as men who refute their Jewishness. And obviously, community notes noted, you are deliberately omitting the second half of the sentence. Deliberately. On purpose.
Well, and that's really disgraceful in her case, because Michael Rappaport, he's clearly not playing with, he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, shall we say.
He knows he's full of shit, too. You don't think that guy watches the Oscars? They're all a bunch of fucking liars.
Yeah, but he is a congenital moron. She's a very smart woman. Like, there's no way that she does not know better than that.
They're just absolute liars. It says right here, the full quote. Yeah,
and it also tells you how hollow the underlying premises of their cause is. If your cause is really righteous, you don't need to use these kinds of tactics. You don't need to be this deceitful to try to claim the moral high ground. It's easy enough to claim through the facts. Well, you don't have to change the facts.
No, they can't make a point without lying. That was part of my tweeted response to this. The other part's probably not YouTube safe, so I won't get into it. But here's Rabbi S. Litvin, Jonathan Glazer's, sick as they call it, the typo. The Zone of Interest is a Holocaust movie not about Jews. It's hardly surprising he refutes his Jewishness and supports those who dream of a land without Jews. Believe me, John, more than you are embarrassed to be Jewish, we are embarrassed you are Jewish. What an illiterate thing to write. Here's Meghan McCain. A lot of people in Hollywood showing their ass when a man gets on stage to refute his Jewishness, and half the room claps. So she watched it because she saw half the room clapping.
Stay in your lane, Megan.
Yeah. Mehdi Hassan, friend of the show, great guy, Mehdi Hassan, says, we've never had a bad word to say about him. That's not what he did. This is a lie. It's a complete cut-off distortion of his full quote, but now this lie has gone viral, and people like Meghan McCain and Batya Ungar Sargon are refusing to delete their disinformation tweets despite hundreds of people informing or correcting them. Shameful. Meghan, after being caught and called out, tweets out, "No peace, bitch." Nice. Keeping it very classy there, Megan. I'm sure your father would be proud.
I'm starting to rethink this whole genocide thing. Their arguments are really persuasive.
No, they're such charmers.
Maybe we're on the wrong side of this.
Yeah, they're such charmers, aren't they? Okay, so it's one thing to see a bunch of Twitter accounts lie about this. Here's the industry standard in Hollywood. Variety magazine, Hollywood Reporter, and Variety. These are the two main trade papers in LA show business. I would say Variety is the number one. That's like the New York Times of Hollywood trade magazines, right? Variety did the same exact thing. They quoted, "Our film shows where dehumanization leads," Glazer said. "It shaped all of our past and present. Right now, we stand here as men who refute their Jewishness, whether the victims of October 7th in Israel." They didn't put the ... They didn't put the ellipsis to show that there was stuff they omitted.
That's
they
amazing.
Put a period right there. Deliberately cut it short. They were called out here. Variety should really correct this. Here's the zoom in where you can see where they go from refute their Jewishness to the next sentence. No ellipsis. You're supposed to at least put the ellipsis there to show you're omitting stuff. Nope. So that's journalistic malpractice there. And then after being caught, looks like they did update it to include the full quote after they got called out for it. So just unbelievably disgusting and deceptive. But now I'm going to show you some tweets from accounts who liked what he had to say. Notice something. We get the full quote and we get the video. Look at that. Dilly Hussein, he appreciated the quote. Siddharth appreciated the quote. If Not Now, Jewish organization, pro-Palestine Jewish organization. Code Pink. Notice a pattern? I did. That's why I tweeted this out. Noticing a pattern. The people who praise Jonathan Glazer's speech tend to quote his full statement and provide video evidence to support their post. Zionists who are trashing the speech omit the second part of the sentence and never show the actual video of what he said. Notice that? Not a single person who had a bad thing to say about this speech actually showed it to you. None of them showed it to you. They did a Kyle Kulinski, Marianne job.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yep.
The first I heard of this, it's just like any other group of indoctrinated people. They all sing from the same choir book. And so the first I heard of this was, I didn't know anything about it. Of course, I didn't watch the Oscars. Yes, after exploiting the Holocaust, he then denies his Jewishness. That was the first I heard. And then you show me all this, and that's the narrative. It's right. They all just get together, and if you repeat a lie often enough, people will believe it. That's their hope.
Yeah. Just an abject lie. And isn't it telling? They can't make a single point without
Although
lying.
morons, the rank and file morons, I think it's Orwellian. I think they honestly convince themselves. I think it's a double think process.
Of course.
They commit themselves to the idea, and they actually believe what they're saying.
No, look, at a certain point, yes, you have the people who will believe 2 + 2 = 5, right?
Yep.
But then, like Variety magazine, they know better than to misquote him intentionally like that.
That was I mean, you want to talk about Orwellian? I mean, that's what the Ministry of Truth does.
Exactly.
Please clap.